All right, we are live.
All right.
Hello, Captain Lego Star Wars. I'll pull up my question. You're ready to go.
All right.
So the first question we have is, what in building and Lego in general?
Come again. Sorry.
What got you interested in building and Lego in general?
That would be basically back then when I started building with Lego and whatnot. Started off with the Lego City sets. I think most people started off with Lego City sets or the simplistic creator sets. And I guess what got me into really building mocks was seeing different builders work on their large scale mocks or on their scenes. I looked at a lot of images or a lot of mocks from Flickr, watched a lot of YouTube channels back in the day, like 2013, 2014. Chris Productions, being one of those people that most people know when it comes to Star Wars mocks, and also one of my main inspirations for building Star Wars and just mocks in general. So I think the main interest was just out of watching other people work on it and then just thinking, I can do this at home. I have my own Lego. I can try this myself. So yeah.
Yeah. Same for me. I just kind of, like you said, started off with all the city sets and things like that, and just the kind of the junior sets before junior, like just the smaller size sets and things like that. And then I just started watching YouTube, like you said, and it's kind of got me inspired to build. What made you decide to start YouTube?
What was that? Basically, when I wanted to start a YouTube channel out of the fact that I also enjoyed watching stop motion animation, and I started with uploading a couple of those. I did upload a couple of mocks back in the day that were very terrible, but one of the main reasons why was because of stop motion animation, because I wanted to share some of those. And then over time, I kind of switched over to doing more mocks and I guess kind of news, because I also did that in the beginning. Did a lot of like Lego City mocks, building my own modulars, showing off my own city that I had. And then later on, I took a large break because at one point I just came between, what do I really want to do on my channel? Is it more city related or is it more Star Wars related stuff? And I kind of took a break for a while to kind of just think of how can I do this? What's going to be the goal of my channel? And then going with Star Wars was then the next chapter, the next part of it, and that's how I started my YouTube channel, and that's how it has come today to where I'm doing just Star Wars mainly on my channel.
So. For sure, that's kind of something that it's kind of interesting. You always kind of find yourself straying away from your main, topic, and then you kind of just have to find a way to redirect yourself back on to stay on track to what you want to do for that channel. I mean, you can see on my channel, I got into gaming, and then I started uploading gaming videos and stuff, and then I was like, no, this is my Lego channel. I'm gonna, if I want to, I'll just make another channel for that. And so
yeah.
If you guys are want to ask questions for Noah or H2Brick, and I'll be asked, then he'll be able to answer those at the end of the video or the stream. Do you have a favorite YouTuber? If so, who is it?
Oh, that's a question I've been asked many times. Is it specifically in the direction of Lego or YouTube in general?
Or you could split it up into categories if you'd like.
I think for favorite YouTuber, I'd have to go with Casey Neistat, because I started watching Casey Neistat, I think, right around when he started making his vlogs, and gradually over time when he started or when he continued his vlogs and he made them a lot better in quality. I just like enjoyed watching them because you got to see what he was working on, what he was doing. You know, he was working on his company Beam at the time, and it was just interesting to see this different style of video for this, different video style format basically for YouTube. And I always found it very, very entertaining to watch. And so I would have to say that to be my favorite YouTuber. As for Lego YouTuber, there's like many I can name, like First or Lego or Luke from Croatia. He's one of my favorites. And then there's Lego Spencer, who's also a fellow Roblox member. Chris. A lot of Roblox members fall into that Lego YouTuber category. There's also those that build larger, such as David Hall or Solid Brick Studios. Those are also, but generally there's not a favorite for me because there's just so many good builders and they have all their different styles. You can't really put it as or one as your favorite because they all build very differently. So that would be my answer to that.
It's been the same way for me. I can't find my favorite YouTuber because I jump between like my interests or like I jump between different YouTubers. Like I start watching a YouTuber, like let's say I'm really interested in watching, let's just say Luke, for example, go back and watch all of his videos and stuff like that. So it's I jump around a lot.
Yeah.
So this isn't roughly when did you get into Rebelug and how? What, go through the Discord process or?
I got into Rebelug back when it was still on Skype. I wasn't in the Discord process because that happened shortly after I got in.
Okay.
And the way it worked was back then the website, because it was on a different server and then we had switched over. Back then when the website was in its starting phase or when it was first made, there was a system where you would sign up to be a member, and you would submit basically some information about yourself. And I had tried this a couple of times, and I was very into getting into Roblox, and I was really excited because I really wanted to show basically my skill, and I also wanted to get better in building with Lego, and also get to talk with other builders that are very well known in the community. And the process, I guess, to get into Roblox, or that I took to get into Roblox, took several months, of course, because I had tried to get in a couple of times and failed.
Yeah.
And after some time, I had worked. I was really relieved when a couple of the members had written me and told me I'd gotten in. But the way I got in was just signing up the old way on the website. I think many people that have known Rebelug for some time now, they would know how that works. So yeah.
You've obviously got it in by now, but I'm actually going through the process now, trying to get in. I'm in the Discord channel, as you know. I think I joined December or January.
All right.
I'm actually going to be reapplying in September. I could have this month, but I just wanted to finish my D-Day mock I'm working on before. Yeah. And we'll see. I might be able to get in on the August vote, but I'm not sure yet.
Yeah.
Cash Productions, I will be asking him all the questions you guys want him to answer at the end of the stream after I've asked him all the questions I have for him. What mock that you have built would you like to go back and redo or change?
That would be the Camino mock or the second one that I built. I think it was towards the autumn months, basically, of last year. And the reason why I would like to rebuild that one is because shortly after that, I just really kicked off in knowing how to use certain pieces and really got professional when it came to lighting and whatnot. And that was just a time. Basically, generally in that time, I was taking pictures inside, and in my opinion, they were pictures I didn't really like. And now I've got this system where I can, have these very nice backdrops for the pictures. And if I could go back, I would do that one because for me, I would build it much larger and a lot better with the techniques I used. So yeah, if I were to rebuild a mock, it would probably be that one. Yeah.
Yeah, I'll have to talk to you about something I'm planning on doing after the stream. It might be of interest to you.
Yeah, sure.
Because it's kind of going along with that, just kind of being able to redo stuff. Let's see. You kind of answered this already, but who is your biggest inspiration in the LEGO community?
Yeah, I did say like Chris, for example, Chris Productions back in the beginning, but like there were other people. There's other people basically that have just come up in recent times now. I guess there's always always a couple of people that will inspire you for a certain theme or for a certain genre of mock. So, for example, when it comes to Star Wars, I've always been inspired by Chris, obviously, just because of how large and how impressive he's done certain things.
Yeah.
I've always been inspired by Luke or First Order Lego to basically take a certain piece, look at it, and think, how can I incorporate this into a mock? Because he does a lot of that, where he takes certain pieces, he'll incorporate them very well, or incorporate certain weapons or figures. Because I never looked at it at that point. I always thought, all right, I always have to do it by the book or by the scene, exactly to the scene. Then through time or over time, basically, I looked at it as I can actually take certain scenes and add a couple of things, because there's always this, freedom or liberty to do these things. I mean, it's your own creation, so you can always put a little bit of a flair into it. For example, there's been, like the Jedi Temple March, which is like my most popular build on my channel. That one, I was going to build it very bland, just the stairs going up and everything. And when I was talking with a couple of people over Skype back then, they were saying, add a couple of things that would not normally be in the scene or that you didn't see in the scene, because you have a liberty of adding those. Because when you're watching the film and you're seeing the 501st marching up the stairs, you can see them. You don't see as many details, basically. So you have a little bit of liberty to add what you want, and through that, make it a little bit more interesting. So I would say, though, for inspiration, there's First Order Lego, Chris Productions, and many others from the community, but those are two very large inspirations of mine. So
yeah, it's definitely nice to have so many people in this community that are willing to help with things or just talk with you about what you're doing, so that they can like kind of help you figure out that might make it a little bit better. So it's a good community to be in if you want to be able to grow and get better at building.
Yeah.
What made you decide to build mini mocks and vignettes rather than mocks like what a lot of other people build?
Mini mocks and vignettes. I was very much inspired by Flickr. I think that's the place of like vignettes and mini mocks, because there's just a large community of people that will take a simple size, such as a 16 by 16 plate, or some will do a 12 by 12, and they'll incorporate, again, pieces that one would not normally think of to incorporate into a mock. And so I've always thought it would be interesting. Yeah, I'll put, or make some vignettes with interesting pieces incorporated into them. And then over time, I just enjoy them because you can pose the minifigures or make a certain scene. And, a person can do that, of course, on a larger scale, but, to see smaller miniature builds, you always look at, and you always take a closer look at the pieces you used for them. Because also, what I've heard from other people is you can look at a small vignette, and if you wanted to, you could recreate a cannon or a column or something from mock. So I always like that aspect of it, because then if somebody wanted to recreate that, then there you go. I helped inspired or help somebody create that certain piece that they can otherwise put into their larger diorama. So,
Yeah.
Yeah.
Interesting. I've always kind of wanted to build like that, but I've always just kind of stuck with building larger mocks. I mean, I'm not saying like I build massive mocks. I mean, I build max out at 6th grade base plates right now, but it's still kind of an interesting way to because it's very hard to build a freeform mock when a larger scale, but you can make very interesting shapes for just the mock in general when you're building at a smaller scale.
Yeah. That's very true.
What is your favorite piece to use?
My favorite piece? That is a very, very interesting question. I've been asked that several times because like I'll always go back to think, all right, what's my favorite piece? Because gosh, there's so many different pieces that are really really good that you can use in mock. There's several, so I'll kind of like name a couple of my favorites, because there's not really one favorite piece of mine. I'll have like, there's like the 1x1 clips in sand green, for example. Those are like really cool pieces that I've seen used for trees. There are certain people that have also used the cheese slopes in like olive green.
Okay.
1x1 plates in almost like any color are just amazing, because when you have them, a whole bunch of them like in a pick-a-rick cup, it's just so nice to look at. For example, the color dark orange. I guess if I were to narrow it down though to like one of my like extremely favorite pieces, it would be the masonry bricks, because those are just you can use those everywhere. Sidewalks, buildings. I mean, there's so many uses for them, and especially in the different variety of colors that they come in. So that would be one of my favorite pieces. Yeah.
I've always kind of wanted them to make that piece in a lot more colors, because I think that they would for all the cities they've made, but there are quite a few colors for that type of a piece. For kind of a unique piece, there's quite a few colors. I think that they would make it in even more colors than they have.
Yeah.
Like I don't think they have white ones.
No, I think the masonry bricks, they come in, I think, if I'm correct, 7 or 8 colors. I have like at least one of each. Sand green, light bluish gray, dark bluish gray, dark red, the nougat color, tan, dark tan. I think olive green is the latest color that they came out with. So yeah, there's a good variety of colors basically.
I can already feel my wallet crying for the olive green ones. Those must be super expensive. I mean, just the stem pieces or the grass are like 12 to 15 cents each.
Yeah.
Olive green is kind of a crazy expensive color. What made you decide to do most of your mocks in a circle?
I'm sorry, say it again.
Recently you've been building in like a circular design. What made you decide to do that?
That was inspired by a Flickr user, I think correct, is Inert Lego.
Okay.
He did several circular based type mocks, and I was inspired by that. I was also inspired by one that Lego Spencer did for the Order 66 collab that we did for Roboleg.
Mm-hmm.
He built one mock in a circle, and yeah, like that would be. I mean, there's those inspirations basically for that, and I was just really interested in doing something different for the 501st Journal series that I did. That's why I built them in a circle. So, but yeah, that's where my main inspirations basically come from for those. Yeah.
What was the most challenging build you have made?
Most challenging build. I think the most challenging, because I've done several builds that have either kind of limit or brought my parts usage or parts collection to a certain breaking point. But one mock that really challenged me was the castle that I did just recently. I think that one's already been taken apart, but that one was a challenge for me in terms of because I had to incorporate, or I wanted to incorporate lights. I didn't have to, but I wanted to. And yeah, that one was a challenge for me also in the fact that I wanted to try some new techniques, add lights into it. And of course, it's a castle build, and I do more Star Wars industrial type builds. So that was also a struggle for me. But yeah, that would be one of my more challenging builds. Another one would be the round feed mock I did, because again, this is all being put into a circular base, and it's just a little bit harder to do that and then kind of get the pieces to work right. But in the end, it worked really well. And then, like I said, there was like also different parts of it that were difficult to make, such as like the one part where it was all plates. It was regularly built, and then you had the snot technique for the sidewalk. So those are two challenging builds of mine that I had to work on a little bit more intensively, basically.
Yeah, it's kind of something I want to do, is to find the best way to challenge myself, because I'm been working on building more stud. I've been also trying with like making things angled onto the plate or things to kind of make it a little bit more interesting, and it's kind of out different ways to connect things and different ways to just make a different angle work.
Yeah, definitely. That's true.
Go ahead. Oh, yeah. What is the hardest thing to do when building locks for you?
Hardest thing. I don't think there's necessarily a hard thing when it comes to building mocks, unless of course you're trying new. I think if anything, the hardest thing, I'll say it this way, is incorporating techniques into it that first off aren't used fairly often, or you need a certain amount of figures, or you need a certain piece basically to finish it. So I think it depends really on like the piece or the figure that you need for it, and then the technique is you can kind of get inspiration from other builders, talk to them about it, and then through that'll kind of work. But I think the hardest part at times is just the pieces that I'll need, because there's one mock I'm working on right now for Brick Fair, Virginia, and I was just really surprised, because I needed a certain amount of figures for this, and the figures are very expensive. So for me, I need to like go through and think, all right, how do I buy these figures, but at a cheaper price, because I can't spend $400 or $500 on figures just for a certain size box. So yeah, I think it's more on the pieces and figures. That's what the hard part is.
Yeah, it's kind of a struggle I'm in now. I need to get figures. I need to start getting figures, and that's why I'm probably not to be in the August vote, is because I'm not gonna be able to get the figures done in and decaled before the vote. So I'm having to, because for my World War II figures, I buy bodies, brasser them, and then decal them. So it's kind of, I'm trying to get everything in time and things like that, but it's kind of, I'm having to find a way to be able to supply those. So
yeah, definitely.
On average.
I'm sorry?
How long do your
How long do they take on average to build? On average, they take between, I'd say, 2 to 3 weeks to build. There are some that are fairly simple. I mean, if you're including planning on how I'm going to, or like, for example, the planning stages of how I'm building it, then it's for sure 2 weeks. But then there's times where it's like smaller vignettes. Those will take like a day or two, just because it's it's a smaller space, very easy just to work with.
Yeah.
And then I'll take the solo mock I built. For example, that one took around a week to build, or like around five or 6 days to build, and then take pictures and everything, and then upload. It took in total a week. The planning I already had in my mind on how I wanted to build it, because at times I'll sketch it on paper, and then I'll just kind of map it out in my head. All right, how do I want to dot this down? How do I want to build this on a base plate? Or if I'm doing it freeform, how do I want to build this in general? But yeah, between 2 to 3 weeks is the max for a larger build, and then for a vignette, it's like 3 or 4 days. So
awesome.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
What is your top who wants to build mocks like you?
All right, can you repeat that again? Sorry.
What is your top 3 tips for want to build like you?
Top 3 tips. My first tip would be, of course, to sketch out whatever you're building. If you're working on a mock that kind of just takes your skills to a whole new level, or basically you haven't built in that genre, then of course sketch it out. Look for a lot of reference pictures if you're building it off of an actual scene, and just do a lot of experimenting, of course, with techniques. That's the second tip I would say. And then for number 3, I would it's more of a like later on when you're done with the build, you're showcasing it. I would very much recommend taking very good pictures, very lit pictures, basically of the mocks. So you've got some type of background paper where you've got the mock on, and then you're taking pictures of it. So that's the other tip I would have. So 3 would just be sketch and plan it out as best as you can. When it comes to techniques, just experiment as much as you can to really make it original, or put some kind of twist on it that is a signature of that you made this mock, or that you didn't just steal certain ideas from other people. And then to really take good pictures of it when you're putting it on a YouTube channel, or on Flickr or Instagram, basically on any social media platform. So
all right, awesome. So that's all the questions I have. Let's go. I'm going to go through the comments or the chat and see if anyone has anything. Lego Cash Productions asks, will you enter my mock contest?
I will for sure take a look at it.
Yes, Lego Cash, I will be answering your comments. Lego Cash Productions apparently beat you in 2 mock contests.
Well, congratulations to him.
Yeah, he doesn't talk in his videos much. That's pretty much all the questions, but Olav wants you to show your, and so does Exo Trooper.
Well, for this time, I'm not going to be able to do that just due to my setup currently. So
yeah. So I think that's about it. No one really had too many questions. So if you guys are new to either of our channels, the top link in the description is H2Brick's channel or Noah's channel. And my gaming channel is also down there. So if you haven't already, go ahead and subscribe to those. Noah, do you have anything to say last?
No, just thank you for having me on and doing an interview with me.
Oh wait, Brick Trooper Studios asks, what is your favorite
AT Walker. That's a good question. I would have to go with the AT-AT. I think it's a very iconic, of course, the original, Walker. from the Seth movie Empire Strikes Back. I think that would have to be my favorite, even though I'm more of a Clone Wars type of guy.
Yeah.
But I really like that one in particular, just because of how, how it's just this original vehicle that everybody knows of from the original film. So
yeah,
that would be it.
I've actually tried to find reference images online, but because I've seen in books and stuff that right at the end of the Clone Wars, they sing with AT-ATs.
Yeah.
So I was trying to find reference images from anything, but I couldn't find any because I wanted to try to modify mine to, or build my own to be a Clone Wars one, so I could use that in a Clone Wars mock, but I couldn't find anything. So,
yeah,
like I said,
I would guess that.
Guys, if how do you do the mocks? Sorry. Brick Troopers.
How do I do the
Yeah.
circle mocks? It is built with a series of 1x2 plates in one color. So most of the time I'll do dark bluish gray.
Okay.
But I've seen people do it in black or in light bluish gray, and other colors. But yeah, mainly just 1x2 plates, and then you need at least 500 or 600 of them to make this ring of plates, because you slightly bend them, but not to the extent that the actual piece will bend. It's just this small piece of friction between each plate, and that's why you need so many of them. But yeah, that's how
do
I do
stack them directly on top?
Say again?
Do you stack them directly on top of one another, or do you like?
Yeah. I'll create like a layer or like one brick layer, so 3 plates on top of each other, and then yeah, that's how it works. That's right.
I didn't know if you like.
No.
Hey Skylar. So like I said, if you guys haven't, links to Noah's channel and my gaming channel down below, so make sure you go subscribe to those. Noah, thank you for coming on. It was nice talking with you. And
with you.
I'll talk to you guys all later. Goodbye.